Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the prayer breakfast by the Speaker of Parliament in the State House, and I have also seen signposts outside. I have seen another host who happens to be a daughter of the president. I want to use that, Mr. Speaker, as you welcomed us back from the recess, because I also saw in the media something that I want to raise relating to your communication. Because the book that you gave us that has all names of MPs also has the protocol in Uganda. And in that protocol, the Deputy Speaker is number 5 in the country. But I saw, Mr. Speaker, reports in social media that you had been delegated by the First Lady, who, in the protocol as a Minister for Education, is far, far, far below you. Now, Mr. Speaker, you are saying you are going to State House where a daughter, I don't know whether the daughter has teamed up with the Speaker. You see, late Prime Minister Professor Polonsiwambi spoke about presidentialism. So I want to be sure that the family of our good president was furnished with information that a Deputy Speaker is number 5 in the country, and therefore he cannot be delegated by a minister, and also that the institution of Parliament cannot be summoned by a daughter to go for prayer breakfast. That's what I wanted to find out from you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, at the National Prayer Breakfast, we do invite different guests. And the different guests include international and local. We have on several occasions hosted several preachers from this country. And the first daughter is one of the preachers. Okay, I don't know whether you've ever gone to her church. But if you want to debate on whether she's a preacher who would qualify to preach on National Prayer Breakfast or not, is an issue for you. Okay? So you can listen to the preachings and believe in them, or you can listen and you don't preach. Now, on the issue of the First Lady, I want to put it very, very clear and on record. The First Lady is the mother of the nation. If you don't agree to that, some of us agree to it. Okay? So, there are issues. I want to tell you, colleagues, the day you start looking at honors as more important, the day you start looking at ranks as more important, you will lose it. Me, I would be glad, Honorable Ssemujju, one day I should represent you. You should, when you're busy, inform me, I will represent you. Because, me, inform me, I will represent you. Because you see, what is important is serving the nation. Okay? And really, even Honorable Macho, just invite me. Because like they say, in our African culture, like they say, if Honorable Macho, Honorable Mujitu invited me to represent you, if a short man, if a tall man bows a short man, it doesn't take away his height. So if I bow for Honorable Segirinya, and I'm glad you're back, does it take away my, yeah? Okay? So just let's be humble, but above all, I respect the First Lady as the mother of the nation and someone I hold extremely dear at a personal level. And given an opportunity, I will again represent her, and I'll be proud of it. Yes, I had picked Honorable Roland.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Although you have wisely guided that.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. The procedure issue about the issue on which you have guided. The Vice President by our Constitution is number 2 and actually a president in waiting. I wanted to find out, Mr. Speaker, whether in this matter of quarreling and you will not find space for the Vice President to come and speak to Parliament on this matter. Because the letter of the Minister of Foreign Affairs accrediting the delegation had her as the head. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs is under the Vice President. So I wanted to raise and request to you, Mr. Speaker, to allow the Vice President, who rarely is she's here, to come and tell us what she went through, because the media reports are really troubling. That they are seated, then they saw the Honorable Prime Minister in her usual style of maverick appearing. So we need the Vice President to tell us really, or even she was able to represent the country, Mr. Speaker. I am requesting kindly.
Thank you. Now, I think this is the fuel I was talking about. This is the fuel I was talking about. Now, honorable colleagues, let's first receive a statement from the Minister for Foreign Affairs. If we find gaps, okay, then we will be able to seek more clarification. Number 2, if the Vice President, I'm sure she has heard and her team has heard, if she wants to make any statement, let her come and make it. But for now, for us, we need a statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because you see what is important is the purpose. The purpose. You accredited people for what purpose? If you've accredited so and so, what was the purpose they were going to serve as part of Uganda's delegation? I think that's very, very critical. Because Honorable Kamunta, I see you're itching. What's the issue? You've done all signs to attract my attention. Honorable Atkins will be followed by Honorable Saro Penny. What's the problem, colleague?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's great to have you back in the House, and we've been missing you for a long time. Mr. Speaker, sir, tomorrow is a great, grand day for the people of Kasese, Mr. Speaker. Our community already on the ground, ready and further to receive the King of the Rwenzururu, His Majesty Omusinga Charles Wesley Mumbere Erimangoma. As Royal Guard #1, I'm so excited and I can't wait. But Mr. Speaker, here is the deal. First of all, on behalf of the Rwenzururu people, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to express my deepest gratitude to government and specifically to the President of the Republic of Uganda for having facilitated the release of our King. And I know, Mr. Speaker, your office, including the Right Honorable Speaker, Anita Moran, and yourself, Mr. Speaker, and all the elders, including Honorable Moroli Mukasa, and a lot of peace-loving and law-abiding citizens have worked all together to make tomorrow happen. Now, Mr. Speaker, my prayers. We know what happened, and I don't want to rewind a sad story. Mr. Speaker, sir, back home in the community, we don't have what we used to call a palace. And my prayer this afternoon is to ask government and this parliament that in the next financial year, I ask colleagues to support us in trying to put a voice and a formal request to allow the palace constructed by the government of Uganda. Number two, Mr. Speaker, sir, tomorrow we're receiving the king, but he's going to be hosted at a subject's house or in a subject's house. That is unfamiliar with kings. And Mr. Speaker, sir, again, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to again put a request before colleagues and to your leadership, or before your leadership, to ensure that a palatial home is constructed for the king. Everybody is invited to consist, and I'll be so happy if it pleases you, many of you joined us in Kasese to give the king a grand reception. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
As far as those issues are concerned, and we wish you fruitful celebrations. Right Honourable Prime Minister, you've had the issues the Honourable colleague has raised.
I want to thank Honourable Atkins for informing Parliament about the release of our King, His Majesty Wesley Mbele, and I congratulate the people of Kasese and the entire region. And I thank you for welcoming him back in such a way whereby you are organizing a wonderful celebration for him to welcome him back home. Right Honorable Speaker, the kingdoms, I think they have, let me say, the kingdoms can write to the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and they put their request, whereby Ministry of Gender will put it to the concerned ministry, that is Ministry of Works.
Right Honourable Prime Minister, you have a way you deal with such matters, okay? Just I would request you to follow up on it, ensuring the colleagues' request.
Right Honourable Minister, I will follow up the matter, but let him come to me and we handle as required.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, what would be wrong with the member going to a Prime Minister? Really? And then after you come here, you complain that we look for them, we don't get them. But here on the floor, you're saying you don't want. So, Rock, you want to say something on that?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank my colleague, the Honourable Atkins Katshave, for raising matters relating to the kingdom and particularly the king. The Honourable Katshave, I apologize, is a very good man, and I find him extremely decent. And I think in his sense of decency, he found it extremely difficult to stand up to the Prime Minister and ask that at the release of the king, who was held incommunicado for more than 4 years, there were subjects murdered in cold blood, those incarcerated without charge for more than 4 years, and those who died in incarceration without justice. Very Honorable Speaker, now that this matter has come with a bit of warmth relating to the return of the king to his people, this Parliament is a house of neutrality, but Parliament is the firewall between the people and an eternal criminal state. States by their nature are criminal, if you understand statecraft. And when you have parliaments, they must stand between the people and the criminal state. Right Honourable Speaker, will it please you to ask of the Prime Minister to come to the House and also make an account to the country how matters of justice have been handled in this community, so that the return of the king is not a ritual, but a restoration of the sense of dignity of the people of Kasese, and understanding that when there are misunderstandings in this country, the gun can never be the solution, Mr. Speaker. Will it please you to instruct the Prime Minister at the return of the king, at the sense of identifying with the people, to make a statement here on the sense of justice, Mr. Speaker? I so pray.
Thank you. Now, Rob, you had gotten misguided because when you said the Honorable Karshavi is a very decent man, that's why he didn't open the wounds. Now, when you started opening the wounds, I said, is Rob indecent? Yet I know him, he's very decent. Okay? Please, Honorable, are you going to take your seat? Yes. So, now I was asking myself. So, now, Honorable colleagues, the people of Kasese are celebrating. Okay? I don't want to cause any anxiety in their celebrations. Rob, anytime, I think you can raise this matter, but let's give them a chance. They first celebrate, okay? Yeah, if they went through the court process and all that and whatever they agreed upon, let's first give them a chance. They celebrate, then these issues can be handled. Because I know Honorable Atkins is among the people who are very tough on these issues. Now, when you see him speaking like this, he's raising the voice of his people. So let us not overshadow their celebrations with Parliament directing investigations into what went wrong and all that. Okay? Yeah. But anytime we look into that, we'll discuss the business. Honorable Saropendi.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the rains are here with us. And it's very unfortunate that within Kampala, we have people who take advantage of the rains and release their sewage when we have rains. And of course, this goes and contaminates water sources. I have specifically a complaint, Right Honourable Speaker, from specifically 2 schools. St. Kizito Secondary School and St. Anna Primary School. They are all in Kavoa in Ruvaga, and the residents around these schools have brought it to my attention that when it is raining, Right Honourable Speaker, these 2 schools actually open their sewage and it's washed with the rains. So, Right Honourable Speaker, my prayer is that the Ministry of Education, that is charged with the responsibility of inspecting schools and ensuring that they have all the necessary infrastructure in place, visit this school, but also secondly, Kampala City Council and the Ministry of Health are responsible to ensure that the health of the people are not affected by those who are trying to to use the rains, to empty their sewage. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I request that the Minister of Education specifically looks at this matter and hopefully gives an update so that the residents who have reached out to me can have some relief. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, it's free sitting. Don't squeeze yourselves. It's
as it used to be. But with time, I know we are going to improve.
Now, Honorable Minister, I'm confused. You're trying to work on it and you have worked on it.
We have worked on it. We are trying to work on it. We are trying to work on it, and it's been rampant throughout because they don't have sewer lines, which is a very big problem. But with time, it will clear up.
Honorable Minister, I'm going to request that the chairperson Education Committee, the vice, the member who has raised the issue, and the constituency, MP and the woman MP, okay? Tomorrow you visit that, you visit the schools, and then you come back in the afternoon and report to this house what you have found on the ground. Because I'm now, then we can take it on from there. Okay, Honorable Joyce Bagara.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The matter I'm raising concerns a disaster that happened in Nachibanga Ward in Mityana Municipality, in Mityana District. There are 3 schools. 2 of them are government-aided schools, and 1 of them is a private school. They've been razed by the heavy rains and hailstorm, as well as the health center, Lulagala Health Center 3, and the maternity ward. Actually, Right Honorable Speaker, by the time that happened, there was a pregnant woman who was in labor. She managed to run out of the building and gave birth shortly after, I think out of fear. But there are also other 85 houses that have been brought down by the heavy rains, and hundreds of acres of crop have been destroyed. So my prayer is to the Office of the Prime Minister, Department of Disaster Preparedness, to really help these people, but also urgently, Right Honorable Speaker, like I spoke to you earlier, there is an issue of members of Parliament raising matters of urgency, especially regarding disaster, and then disaster preparedness takes so long to take relief to these people. In this case, there are classes that have been told to go home until their classrooms have been rebuilt or gotten iron sheets, and then the health center where people are supposed to receive health care is also down. That is why I'm thinking this should be taken with the urgency that it deserves.
Right,
Thank
Honorable.
you.
Right Honorable Speaker, I request the Honorable Member to give us the communication from the district. Please lay it on the table so that we can make a follow-up. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm laying this letter from the Town Clerk of Mityana Municipality, a letter to the Office of the Prime Minister, so that we can get relief in Mityana Municipality.
Thank you. But also, Honorable Minister for Education, since these are schools and we have some emergency fund under Ministry of Education, can you come in handy to work with the Prime Minister's office?
Right Honorable Speaker, there was a time when my ministry had the funds for emergencies. But I think when the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness came on board, all these funds were transferred to the Prime Minister's office. I submit.
Thank you. Honorable Kwizera.